say love, but I threw that word out. Oh, back when girls would give me down.
Hi, future me. I'm recording this to make sure you remember what you wanted to do by now. I know you're probably still busy. It takes time to overcome some shit and start from scratch. But I believe this will be a happy year for us. If you're listening to this, it's probably March 2026, right before your birthday. So when you hear this, have we done it? Have we become an artist? I really hope so. I believe in us. I believe in us. I believe in us.
One day you promise yourself something. You want it so much you can clearly see the version of you who finally does it. But then days pass, and weeks, and suddenly it's been months, and that promise is still hanging in the air, begging to be either kept or let go. Hi. Today I bought this. This is my first easel. I think I avoided buying one for way too long because buying it would make my dream too real. But now I have it. And it means that I can't keep telling myself I'll start someday, when I'm ready, when I have everything I need. 'Cause now I literally have everything I need. So, someday is today, I guess. And today is March 1st. On March 16th, I turned 28. Which means I have exactly 2 weeks. And in these 2 weeks, I'm going to learn how to paint. Everyone knew what to get me for Christmas. My secret Santa from drawing club sent me acrylics and small canvases. My boyfriend got me this big set of paints. My sister found me this vintage milk jar to hold my brushes. I loved it so much. I kept thinking that after the holidays I'd finally have more time and dedication and I'd start then. But I didn't. I knew what I wanted to paint first as soon as I got all these gifts. Last September, we stayed in the mountains, and our neighbors were 2 cows. I said hello to them every morning. They said, "Moo." My boyfriend took this picture. Green grass under my feet, blue sky and snowy mountain caps behind me, this cute brown cow friend with a fluffy hairstyle, and me wearing my pink sweater. I got this sweater a year ago when my life felt like it was falling apart, and wearing it somehow made me feel brighter and lighter. I found my way back to my normal self, and it's been my favorite thing to wear ever since. So in September, sitting next to that cow in those mountains, wearing that sweater, I felt so free. That's the feeling I wanted to capture forever, to remember who I am and how my life should feel. That's what I wanted to paint. Okay, let's see how it works. Oh, I can change the angle. Okay, I must admit, I'm a little stressed out. I don't know if 2 weeks are enough. I don't know if I'm even good at this. And the biggest problem is that tonight I'm going to my parents' place and I'll be living there for several weeks to help with something. And I also have a lot of real work to work on, which means these 2 weeks aren't really mine. And I'll have to learn painting in between everything else. But now I still have half an hour before I'll have to start packing. So let's make a quick sketch. I wasn't sure if I needed this much stress right before my birthday. To be honest, with all the work, the moving, and generally not really belonging to myself for the next several weeks, my first thought was to give up. Just spend these 2 weeks in a kind of hibernation like I've done many times, not thinking about my art or my wishes, just doing my best to exist, be there for my parents, and finish all the work. And then I'd move back to my apartment, take a breath of relief, and start from scratch. But I decided that this idea is the one. I can postpone anything else I want to do before I turn 28. But this promise to my younger self to become an artist this year, it's the one thing I couldn't postpone. I couldn't betray her by not at least trying. Okay, I think this is a sketch. Maybe proportions are not quite right yet, but this is definitely a sketch. Let's go back now. My parents' place is not the childhood home I grew up in. It's another city and actually another country. So technically nothing there is mine, and as a person who sticks too much to her physical belongings and memories, I always feel a little uncomfortable to push myself working or especially making something creative in a place where I'm not surrounded by my usual things. But coming here, I always find joy in noticing that this apartment keeps some very special things from my childhood. Like this electronic watch. I remember it as long as I live. Or this musical center, with the music I grew up with. Or this coffee machine model. It's exactly the same as the one we have left in my childhood home. So from the very beginning, I decided to find as much comfort as possible in these familiar things. But I had to start the week working a lot, often getting distracted to help in between, So by the end of the first day, I was stressed, tired, and not even a bit closer to my art dream. And so went another day. And another. For me, it's really hard to switch from work to making art in the same day. My brain has two modes, problem solving and pure creative flow. And if I've used the problem solving mode too much today, it refuses to switch. Sometimes I push through anyway, because that's probably how you grow. But whenever I can, I try to find a day when I don't open my work at all and just start the day with creating. But Thursday wasn't that day. Hi, it's Friday, March 6th. So there are just 10 days left until my birthday. And this is the first day I'm gonna work on my painting in this apartment. Not the most promising speed for this challenge, but we have to work with what we have. I finally have a morning that doesn't start with work, so for the next hour or so, I can sit here alone and paint.
Waking up with the sunrise, open my eyes, say good morning to the daylight. Everything is alright. All my fears are fading, evaporating. I finally see it all so clearly. Oh, I like this feeling. The nighttime was heavy, was holding me steady. The darkness always fades. Feels like a new beginning. I'm waking up from a dream. Anything is possible. The world just keeps on spinning, and that's alright with me. Anything is possible.
Please tell me I'm not the only one who can only focus on creating when I'm completely alone in the room, knowing no one will walk in. I almost started painting the background green, and then I suddenly remembered seeing on YouTube how many artists actually first paint the background with a different color, and the final picture looks amazingly deep. I googled it, and it seems to be done like this. I have only 40 minutes left, but I think I'll give it a try. I'm not even sure why I did the initial sketch now, cause it's gonna be painted over anyway, and I won't be able to see through the paint. But that's okay, that's how you learn. I still have to finish the lighter areas and the bottom part. I'm a perfectionist who's afraid of getting paint on the easel. I have to go now, but I'll try to squeeze in another painting session this afternoon. It's 3 p.m. I've managed to finish this complementary color background, and now I'm going to make a rough sketch again, but this time using this lighter shade of paint. After the strip, I literally noticed cows everywhere. This one makes my day better each time I use my notebook. I spent the next hour painting a new sketch, and that was a wrap on day one of actually painting. I thought I would feel nothing yet. It was just a sketch, and it was just beginning to become recognizable. This was not the first time I was drawing a girl, but the first time this girl was me. Painting it, even in this draft format, surprisingly brought me a feeling of creative freedom I was desperately looking for. And I think I'm more excited than scared now. On the photo, there is a fence between me and the cow. I was gonna draw it as it is, but then I decided there could be no border between us. At least on the painting. Well, because it's my painting, it can be whatever I want it to be. One more week almost passed. Work and worries took over, and there was no chance to paint. The first signs of spring were coming. It was so warm and beautiful outside, and I was stuck inside with paperwork. I felt angry. But that's part of the journey to the work you love, I guess. Sometimes we don't get perfect conditions to follow our dreams. We just have to try anyway, whenever we can. On Friday, I moved back home. Through the entire final weekend, I painted all day long, without any distractions, and gradually sinking into the feeling of being a mad scientist. To be precise, a mad artist, and losing myself in the freedom that feeling gave me. As a perfectionist, I was surprised to find that I was no longer afraid of getting paint on the easel when making sweeping brushstrokes. Going into the final weekend, I still had no idea what I was doing. I tried different strokes, all of them for the first time. Some turned out bad, but some were promising. The best thing about acrylics is that if something goes wrong, you just paint over it until it feels right. And slowly, I started to see it. The mountains taking shape, the cow taking shape, me taking shape. After several attempts, the lights and shadows finally looked right, despite the fact that I can normally never draw an object with shadows correctly. Maybe that's how becoming works. You don't know what you're doing, you try, you make mistakes, but then you start to see small signs, something beginning to look right. And you follow that, you make more certain steps, until you realize you're becoming the person you wanted to be. It's March 16th, my birthday. And yesterday, or to be more precise, today at 2 a.m., I finished this. It's not perfect, and I know that real artists might notice some mistakes that I don't even understand yet. If that's you, your advice is really, really welcome in the comments. Have I become an artist? To be honest, I don't have a perfect answer yet. But I have this. A painting I made with my own hands. I kept the promise to my younger self. I mean, there are bigger dreams, like making a living from art or something like this, but this promise wasn't about it. It was about really allowing myself to sit and paint and treat it like one of the most important projects, one of the most important things I have to do now, not something I have to postpone constantly for work. Now I think that becoming an artist isn't really about finishing the painting. I think it's about the moment when you decide you're allowed to try. And then you try again and again. Like, for real. I ran out of time, I had to work, I had to move between apartments, and I really had to Google a lot and learn on the go because I barely knew what I was doing. But I did it anyway. So now I think I should sign it, like artists do. I don't know if you have something you've been promising yourself, something you keep putting off. But if you do, maybe this is your sign to try. Even if it's messy, even if you don't know what to do and how to start, even if you don't have time, and even if you're scared, just try and see what happens.